The Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, JCTR, is synonymous with the Basic Needs and Nutrition Basket, BNNB. The Basic Needs and Nutritional Basket is a monthly survey conducted since the 1990s to estimate the cost of living for the family of 5 people across selected 16 towns in Zambia.
It is an estimation of the minimum cost of a diet that provides a household's recommended nutrition intake, recommended nutrition intake, taking into account local food habits and the principles of a healthy diet, of course.
Well, the nature of the basic needs and nutrition basket in itself may not be able to estimate what the price of a 25 kg bag of mealie meal will be, 2 or 3 months in time from today. But we will be able to at least see and reflect what we will find on the market at that point in time.
On Thursday, the 27th March 2025, JCTR gave an overview BNNB for March and an overview for the first quarter of 2025. The report reviews that generally, the cost of living continued to rise, with Lusaka being the highest at 11,546 kwacha, 87 ngwe. Here now is Father Dr. Daniel Mwambamutale, SJ, with the overview of the Basic Needs and Nutritional Basket, BNNB, beginning with Lusaka.
The Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection Basic Needs and Nutrition Basket, BNNB, for March 2025 stands at 11,546, 87 ngwe for a family of 5 in Lusaka. Although this figure represents a marginal reduction of a meager 52 kwacha 25 ngwe compared to last month, February, it still shows that the overall cost of living remains high and is increasing beyond affordability of a dignified life, particularly for the poor and marginalized. The March 2025 BNNB findings for Lusaka, when compared to the same period, that is March 2024 BNNB for Lusaka, which was 10,701 13 ngwe, clearly shows an increasing trend in the cost of living. The changes in the total March 2025 BNNB for Lusaka shows several price fluctuations in basic food and essential non-food items. The total cost of essential non-food items increased to 6,451.27 ngwe from 6,321.87 ngwe in February 2025. This rise was largely due to an increase in the price of charcoal, which has now reached 562.50 ngwe per 90 kg bag for March, compared to 497 kwacha in February. The fluctuations in charcoal prices are primarily attributed to seasonal factors. We are just concluding the rain season that have impacted the production and transportation of this commodity. The total cost of food items decreased modestly to 5,095 kwacha 59 ngwe in March from 5,277 kwacha 25 ngwe in February. Marginal price decreases were observed in commodities such as carpenter, which dropped to 399 kwacha 65 ngwe in March from 491 kwacha 26 ngwe for a kg, that is. And also in vegetables, which reduced to 643 kwacha 59 ngwe in March from 701 kwacha 81 ngwe in February for a 40 kg bag.
and preliminary data from the BNNB survey conducted across 12 of the 16 towns reveals an average cost of living stands at 8,024 kwacha, 44 ngwe, for the family of 5.
The findings reveal that the average cost of living for the first quarter 2025 stands at a very high amount of 8,024 kwacha, 44 ngwe. That is for the 12 towns whose data we've already analyzed. Lusaka recorded the highest average cost of living at 11,315 kwacha, 52 ngwe, and the lowest for the towns that we've already analyzed is Chinsali, whose average from January to March stands at 5,991 kwacha, 40 ngwe. For Joma, the average is 6,301 kwacha, 70 ngwe. For Kabwe, it's 8,723 kwacha, 86 ngwe. For Livingstone, we have 9,512 kwacha, 32 ngwe. For Luansha, it's 8,175 kwacha, 90 ngwe. There is Mansa at 7,641 kwacha, 27 ngwe. There's Mazabuka at 7,757 kwacha, 5 ngwe. Mungu stands at 6,127 kwacha, 18 ngwe. Monze at 6,701 kwacha, 98 ngwe. Mpika at 8,117 kwacha, 91 ngwe. And lastly but not the least, we have Ndola at 9,916 kwacha, 19 ngwe.
75% of the data analysis from the findings of the 16 towns surveyed in the first quarter of 2025 shows the cost of living is still very high.
Lusaka, for instance, which now for March stands at 11,546 kwacha, 87 ngwe, an increase from 10,857 ngwe in January. So you can see clearly the jump from January to March for Lusaka. Dollar as a jump from 9,607, 16 ngwe from January to 10,350 kwacha, 80 ngwe in March. Kabwe jumped. For Kabwe, we have a jump from 8,181 kwacha, 2 ngwe to 9,146 kwacha, 91 ngwe. For Livingstone, the increase is from 9,328 kwacha, 64 ngwe to 9,606 kwacha, 80 ngwe. For Mansa, the cost of living jumped from 7,357 kwacha, 36 ngwe in January to 7,809 kwacha, 26 ngwe. Mungu's basic needs and nutrition basket increased to 6,466 kwacha, 84 ngwe in March from 5,889 kwacha in January. Key factors contributing to price changes were increases in prices of food items and commodities such as chickens, various vegetables, wandwe, cabbage, pumpkin leaves, as well as in the prices of fruits, oranges, apples, bananas. Additionally, seasonal factors such as floods and of course the current challenges and energy crisis that we're experiencing have contributed to an increase in the price of commodities. The findings presented, dear members of the press, clearly indicate that the cost of living has increased and remained high, particularly for the poor.
JCTR has said this while bemoaning wide inequalities that undermine the dignity of poor people as the most hit.
In comparison to 2024, the majority of towns recorded an increase in total basic needs and nutrition basket. These findings, viewed in relation to the national average earnings, which have remained low and in some cases stagnant, raise a great concern for the poor households' ability to afford basic essentials in order for them to live a dignified and humane life. The high cost of living exposes the many inequalities that continue to prevail in our society in Zambia. Affordability, availability, and access to basic essential commodities is critical for dignified living conditions. Responding to the social needs and care of the people must be the center of any social and economic development agenda of the country such as ours, Zambia.
JCTR therefore makes the following recommendations to address the experienced causes of high cost of living in Zambia.
In light of the findings, the Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection makes the following recommendations. Number 1, preservation of harvest gains. Given the sufficient rains that we have experienced countrywide in the 2024-2025 rain and farming season, we anticipate an increase in crop harvest across various crops that our farmers worked so hard to produce. The anticipated improved crop harvest presents an opportunity to ensure that any gains in crop harvest and yield realized during the just concluding farming are not only prudently utilized, but also stored well so that nothing goes to waste. We urge the government to prepare adequately to ensure that the post-harvest losses are minimized, if not completely eradicated, by making sure that we have the silos ready in order to prevent waste. This obviously will be a step towards ensuring not only long-term food security for households, but also in making sure that the supply of commodities increases, and we expect that with an increase in supply of the products that would have come from the farming season, the price will come down or lower to a point that can be afforded, particularly by the poor. Second recommendation, we recommend a steady and continued, in fact, an increase in infrastructure, particularly road infrastructure, agriculture infrastructure, and associated technologies. We urge the government to increase and continue to invest in road infrastructure, in agriculture infrastructure, particularly in rural areas where most of our farming communities live, but especially the small-scale farmers who continue to work hard in order to feed this nation. This way, access to markets for the farmers who work hard to grow will be improved, but also access to various markets around Zambia so that the anticipated increase in production, in agriculture production, can benefit everyone. We also urge the government to increase investment in social sectors. Human development is critical to dismantling unequal systems. Therefore, the government must increase investment in key social sectors such as health, education, water and sanitation, and social protection. It is imperative that development policies and systems respond to the needs of the people and ultimately result in a just society that promotes the common good for all by ensuring that every person can access and afford basic needs that they need for a dignified life. Thank you very much for listening to my few remarks. I will now wait for any questions that you may have or clarifications. Thanks.
Father Mutale also answered questions of concern, beginning with the take on the impact of the USA cut on financial aid.
The JCTR has consistently called for broadening of the resource base for the nation, resource mobilization, and especially a steady move away from what we term as a dependence on external funding. Why? Because something like this can happen if we depend on others to take care of our social sectors, we run a risk that unfortunately we are in when those funds dry up or they're just cut by a change of policy. So I'd like to continue appealing and making a case for what we've always stood for, an increase broadening the tax base, ensuring that there is equitable, tax contributions from those that should contribute from the mining sector. We continue to call for, a taxation that works in a way that it is not only equitable, but also broadens and provides the much needed resources for, particularly social sectors, agriculture, health, and education, as it were. Briefcase, buyers, the temptation that is there by our farmers to immediately sell. Before I even make a broader comment on that, my starting point is, look, that shows us how desperate our people can be, because the living conditions are really tough, and they need the funds, they need the money. We're just at the beginning of the year. There's money needed for school uniforms, there's money needed to move, there's money needed for all sorts of basic needs. So that does show the desperation that our people can be in. But it also ties into the recommendations that we've made. If the roads can't be are not in a good condition, particularly road infrastructure to rural areas, that allows more businesses or more people, including the Food Reserve Agency, to offer farmers a better price. This is the result. That's what we end up with.
And what we are also advocating for is to ensure that measures should be put in place, whether the crop is collected by the informal, the so-called briefcase buyers, because some of them are quite big. The informal or the formal, it should not find itself going across the borders, but it should be preserved, as well as preserved in a way that it doesn't go to waste, and also to subsidize neighboring countries.
This government being practical, you see, depreciation of the kwacha or depreciation of any currency it's a sign, it's a symptom of something that's happening in the economy or something that's not going on well. I agree that there is some of the inflation that we import, when we import goods whose price are already high at the point of origin, and then we inherit that inflation, so to speak. But there are other measures that can be taken to ensure that we not only broaden or diversify our economy, make it more robust, make it more dynamic. For as long as we continue importing a lot of goods, a lot of commodities, it's a question of demand and supply of other currencies. The kwacha is low because not many people are importing or getting a lot of goods from us. Again, referring to the ministerial statement, we had a trade deficit last year. That means we bought more from outside than they bought from us, and that further depreciated our kwacha. So it's a wake-up call. It is a sign that it's an indicator that we need to again look at our economy, make it more resilient, diversify it, create incentives, not just for foreign or investors coming from outside Zambia. They are definitely welcome, as we know, we've been welcoming them, but also ensuring that the cost of doing business for particularly small-scale businesses, medium and small-scale businesses, are such that they can boost production and make our economy robust, so that we address this depreciation of the kwacha.
It is only hoped that the recommendations submitted by JCTR can be given the highest priority, as they can help to address the high cost of living in Zambia and enable the poor have the much needed basic needs and nutrition in their homes and dignity restored where lost.